Authorities raid a Miami, Oklahoma dispensary seizing tens of thousands of dollars worth of product. And the Delta variant of COVID shows no sign of slowing down as it's now been detected in all 50 states.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities shut down a Miami, Oklahoma medical marijuana facility. This is KOAM News at 10. Underground dispensary in Miami is shut down for not having the correct licenses. The Miami police chief says police seized between $150,000 and $200,000 worth of THC products. The Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority says the facility had been sold and the new owners didn't get the proper licenses. The facility says that a system error at OMMA kept them from getting a license, but that they're working on resolving the issue and plan to reopen.
Without that medical marijuana license and that legal paperwork through the state, you're just an illegal drug dealer. And that's kind of the line we're dealing with to see where they're at on licensing, if it's civil, criminal, where exactly that's going to fall out.
The OMMA says there are no indications that there were issues with the product the facility was selling, but says they'll test samples out of an abundance of caution. Doug Hetty, the rain finally going away.
Yeah, thankfully we are pushing the rain out of the region, which is always good news after how much we've had over the past several days. Temps today, 85, 71 were the numbers. Normal highs about 90 for this time of the year. And you can see all the showers and thunderstorms that we were watching earlier pretty much slid to the south. There's still a couple little isolated guys, mainly in the southern half of the region, but most of us are going to stay dry as we go through the rest of the overnight hours for us tonight, which is good news. Temps into the mid 70s. It does look like we'll drop back upper 60s later on tonight, which is pretty good. 74 by 10, 79 by noon. High temp right around 83. So Friday's going to be great. Of course, we're going to look at the holiday weekend and take a look at the month-long forecast, all coming up here in just a bit.
Doug, thanks. Joplin police say a woman was robbed near Messenger Towers in Joplin, then dragged by a vehicle from that site for about 2 blocks all the way to 4th and Main. Happened just before 1 this afternoon. Police say the robber is still on the loose and was traveling in a dark sedan. The victim was taken to the hospital and the last report was listed in stable condition. A new Missouri law aims to better protect victims of domestic violence. It was signed by Governor Parson on Tuesday. The law extends orders of protection for up to a lifetime in extreme situations, includes pets in protection orders, and expands the definition of stalking to include technology like GPS devices and social media, as well as the use of third parties. The executive director says the frequency of domestic violence situations that brought about this law should be an eye-opener.
Something that people need to really realize, that if we're having to put this in place, and if we're having to recognize how stalking works, and if we're really listening and understanding how long stalking goes on, it really should be eye-opening to just our community in general as to the severity of the cases of people who are trying to leave these situations.
The law goes into effect on August 28th. 18 to 20-year-olds can now apply for concealed weapons permits in Kansas. Governor Laura Kelly vetoed a bill lowering the age from 21 in May, but lawmakers overrode that veto, and that law goes into effect today. Supporters say younger people should be able to carry hidden weapons if they're properly trained. They point out people can serve in the military at 18 years old. Critics note the law does not require training to get the permit. Tens of thousands of Oklahoma residents are now covered by health insurance as a result of Medicaid expansion in the state. The voter-backed expansion took effect today. As a result, Oklahoma is reaping federal bonus payments and staking a central place in the political debate over extending the program in every state. More than 123,000 low-income Oklahomans already have been approved for coverage in a state where nearly 15% of the population is uninsured. According to the nonprofit Kaiser Family Foundation, Oklahoma's uninsured rate is the second highest in the nation, behind Texas. The Delta variant of the coronavirus has now reached all 50 states and Washington, D.C. South Dakota was the final holdout, and it reported a case Tuesday. Health experts worry the more transmissible variant will spread in areas with low vaccination rates. They also want more young people to get vaccinated. The CDC says people ages 12 to 29 account for a third of the COVID-19 hospitalizations since May. Mandy Gaither has more.
It now accounts for 1 in 4 coronavirus cases in the U.S., and the Delta variant shows no sign of slowing down.
This variant of COVID is highly transmissible, the most transmissible that we've seen to date.
Top U.S. health officials say those who are fully vaccinated have a high degree of protection from the Delta variant, but
if you are not vaccinated, then you are in trouble.
Some of those unvaccinated are the youngest Americans. Right now, the FDA has only authorized the Pfizer vaccine for those as young as 12.
I would say right now, if your kids are old enough to wear masks, then they should when they're indoors, at least until we can get our arms around this Delta variant.
That variant is spreading in some areas more than others. Health experts say that means Americans need to fully understand the risk in their area.
If you're in the Northeast where transmission is really low, then your kids are a lot safer than in parts of the South Central U.S. right now, where the epidemic is really taking off. That 1-2 punch of the Delta variant and low vaccination rates.
A new Kaiser Family Foundation poll suggests most U.S. adults who plan to get vaccinated against COVID-19 have already done so. 65% of adults surveyed said they've gotten at least one dose. That figure hasn't gone up much from 62% in May. About 14% said they will definitely not get vaccinated.
The more people we get vaccinated in our country, the fewer people will get infected.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
About 20% of people polled who have yet to get vaccinated said the main reason is because they believe the vaccine is too new. A smaller number of people in the survey cited other reasons like concerns about side effects or distrust of the government. Johnson & Johnson will start testing its COVID-19 vaccine in teens this fall. The pharmaceutical company says it's planning 4 pediatric trials. The first includes children 12 to 17 years old. At least 4,500 participants will be enrolled in all 4 trials. Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine is currently authorized in the U.S. for people 18 and older. Still ahead, a top executive in former President Trump's organization enters a plea for allegedly failing to pay taxes on fringe benefits from the company. And President Biden visits the site of the building collapse in Surfside, Florida. Topping tonight's Nation Watch, a top executive in the Trump organization surrendered to authorities today to face tax-related charges. Alan Weisselberg, the Trump organization's chief financial officer, pleaded not guilty to criminal charges for allegedly failing to pay taxes on fringe benefits from the company. In a statement, former President Trump said his company's actions were standard practice and in no way a crime. On the last day of its term, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld 2 hotly contested voting laws in Arizona. One throws out ballots cast in the wrong precinct. The other restricts who can deliver absentee ballots. Democratic Party officials had argued the measures disproportionately affect communities of color, but the court's conservative majority ruled the measures were modest burdens that did not violate the Federal Voting Rights Act. The President and First Lady traveled to Florida, where Surfside residents are still struggling with the collapse of the Champlain Towers South building. Rescue operations there have paused due to safety concerns. So far, 18 people are confirmed dead in the tragedy, while more than 140 people are unaccounted for. Rescue efforts paused early today due to concerns over the structural integrity of the building, of the parts still standing. Engineers and experts are working on options to continue those operations. The president is pledging federal assistance in the rescue operations.
I think I have the power, and we'll know shortly, that to be able to pick up 100% of the costs for the county and the state over the first 30 days.
The rescue efforts at the site have resumed after a 15-hour pause for safety concerns, and officials say they are planning for the likely demolition of the remaining structure. College athletes can start making money today. The NCAA Board of Directors has suspended rules prohibiting athletes from selling their rights to their names, images, and likenesses. Students can now profit from their autographs, product endorsements, personal appearances, and even social media posts. Later, the Kansas City Royals look to avoid the sweep against the Boston Red Sox.
Plus, we're going to take a look at your month-long forecast coming up next. Well, of course, more showers, more thunderstorms for us today. Not quite as widespread as what we did see yesterday, and it's really been calming down quite a bit over the past couple hours, which, hey, we'll definitely take. Most of the rain is pushed south of the region, and it looks pretty good, really, from this point on. There's still a chance we could have an isolated little pop-up shower, but in general, it looks pretty good after all the rain we've seen over the past several days. You can see a couple little guys in our far southwestern counties. Besides that, not much going on here in our neck of the woods. All the rain's down through Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and stretching up into parts of Mississippi, heading away from us. However, check this out. This is our rainfall amounts since Saturday. And everybody who is at least in the orange has had 6 inches of rain. So in the purple is a foot of rain. So that's why we've had so many flash flooding issues. So thankfully we're going to dry out a bit next few days, which is good news. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Temps right now sitting into the mid 70s. I think we'll drop back upper 60s a little bit later on tonight, but we still have the humidity. Dew point 71, 72 degrees. So if you factor that into our dew point chart, we're still kind of in that muggy range. The good news here is look at our winds. They're out of the north now. We had a cold front that rolled through. Doesn't get cold in the summer, but it can cool off a few degrees, and our humidity is going to drop back a little bit as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. All right, outside right now, currently sitting at 76. Humidity is at 85%. And it looks like we'll drop to about 68 or so later on tonight. The clouds will continue to break up, so I think mostly clear skies by the time we head into the morning hours. By the time we go into the afternoon, temps look great. We're going to be 83, 84 degrees. We'll start at 67, 78 by noon. High temp right around 83. All right, tomorrow night, it's going to be comfortable. We're going to drop back into lower 60s, about 61, 62 degrees for an overnight low. Saturday looks good, partly sunny skies, of course, kicking off the holiday weekend, mid 80s for highs. On the 4th, much of the same, couple notches warmer, upper 80s, but look at any rain. Stays mainly out to our west. Monday looks great if you're taking off Monday to observe the holiday, also into the upper 80s. Then by the middle of the week, we'll start to get back into the action. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, and temperatures will heat up just a bit more by that point in time. Tomorrow looks good, 83, 85 Saturday, 87 on Sunday, 88 on Monday. That's your holiday weekend. Of course, 4th of July on Sunday. Rain chances on Tuesday and Wednesday, but at this point in time, they look very scattered, so not a huge deal. All right, let's look at the month-long forecast. This is based off my pattern. We're in the 7th cycle. This pattern's almost done. Our new one starts here in about 2 months, which will be great. But it's going to be a hot, humid month. We're going to continue a lot with scattered showers and thunderstorms, but most of the days we're going to have highs into the 80s and 90s, which is good news. So let's recap next week. Rain chances Tuesday and Wednesday. If I have warm on there, that means 80s. If I have hot on there, that means 90s, pushing 100. So we have rain chances Tuesday, Wednesday, next Saturday, heating up by the middle of the week. But look at the 11th through the 17th, all 80s. But we have rain chances every day. It's a very similar week to what we have just gotten through or been going through. Not as much rain, but rain chances every day, high temps into the 80s. As we get into the 18th through the 24th, here comes the heat again, mainly 90s, but we still have those rain chances. And then the last week, we dry up, no rain, mainly 90s, if not triple digits. So it gets a little hotter as we go through the month, but very typical July.
Yeah, but some rain chances in July, which we don't always see.
Which is good.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. There's going to be a fireworks show in Joplin this year, but it won't be exactly normal. The show is going to take place on the eastern side of the Missouri Southern campus, but it will be just fireworks this year, and visitors will view the show drive-in movie style, which is to say they're asking you to stay in your vehicles. If you do get out, University officials say you should stand in front of your vehicle to keep a safe distance from other cars. Fireworks begin at 9:45 p.m. You can tune into the campus radio station 88.7 to listen to a curated music experience from the comfort of your car. In the days leading up to the 4th of July, we talk a lot about safety. Usually it's about how to handle fireworks safely. This year, due to the recent heavy rainfall, GRDA officials are stressing water safety. First, watch out for floating debris. The heavy rains can carry driftwood and other debris into the water. If you're boating, watch your wake. The high lake levels can lead to higher wakes, which can be damaging. And stay away from floodgates and spillways, as they could be open to maintain lake levels. The GRDA also says you should wear a life jacket when out on the water and check weather conditions before you go out. Missouri drivers will pay the highest price for gas they've seen in years. The statewide gas price average in Missouri, $2.81 a gallon. That's the highest it's been since 2014. It's 93 cents more than this time last year. Joplin drivers are catching a bit of a break, though. Joplin has the lowest prices in the state at around $2.74 a gallon on average. Coming up in sports, the Joplin Outlaws return home for the first time in more than a week. And Pittsburgh Special Olympics athlete Bryce Commons finds a new way to connect to the community. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
The Joplin Outlaws are back home tonight for the first time in 10 days. Joplin welcomes in the Sedalia Bombers to Joe Becker Stadium this evening, aiming to claim sole possession of first place in the Mink League South Division. Now the Outlaws 9-8 coming into the night. Sedalia is 10-9. Christian DeJesus pretty good on the mound tonight for Joplin. Strikeout there. Then in the third, gets out of a bases loaded jam with another swing and a miss. He goes 5 1/3, picking up 10 strikeouts. At bottom of the third, man on second, Jeb Jenkins finds the gap in right center, brings home Cam Pathman. Jenkins, though, slips off second. He'll be tagged out. Still gets the RBI, though. It's 1-1 at that point. Caleb Fearsteg drives in 3 tonight. Joplin rallies to beat Sedalia 4-2. In the major leagues, Royals try to avoid the sweep against the Red Sox today, but didn't go their way. Kike Hernandez leadoff homer for Boston, his 9th. Then in the 4th, JD Martinez does the same thing. Solo shot, his 17th, makes it 2-0. Boston really just hammered away all day here. Danny Santana still in the 4th inning, 3-run jack. Sox collect 17 hits on the afternoon. Royals lose it and get swept in the 4-game series 15-1. The St. Louis Cardinals, fresh off a sweep over Arizona on the road, kicking off a series against the Rockies tonight. That one's in the bottom of the 6th, tied 2-2. Paul Goldschmidt is 2 for 3 with a solo home run for the Cards. Pittsburgh Special Olympics athlete Bryce Commons has found a new way to connect with the community after a break in competition. Our very own Danny Terzer catches up with Commons to talk about his new adventure.
Yeah, here it is. Cup or cone?
2 cups. Special Olympics athlete Bryce Commons has found a new sense of joy after a hard year.
We bought it mostly for Bryce. One, to reconnect with the community.
Here you go.
And give him purpose. You know, he went from school where he was very active, and then even after school with Special Olympics, to doing nothing.
The Commons are the new owners of the Pittsburgh Jolly Trolley.
2020 was a really rough year with COVID and everything, but it was especially rough on kids with special needs. And he was having an especially hard day that day, and I went home and I said, well, guess what? And he's like, what? I said, we're going to buy the Jolly Trolley. And he just lit up. The day we brought it home, he was ecstatic.
Bryce and his family took over the business at the end of May, hoping to bring the tradition of the Jolly Trolley back to the city of Pittsburgh.
There you go. You're welcome. We're selling snow cones from the Jolly Trolley at the ballpark, for the birthday parties, and even the school.
That's where the nostalgia comes in with, everybody going, oh my gosh, the Jolly Trolley's back. This is awesome. from adults to telling their children, this is what I had growing up.
Bryce adds a new personal touch to this old Pittsburgh icon.
The main personal spin is the snow cones and selfies with Bryce. And then, of course, it ends up on either his Facebook page or the Pittsburgh Jolly Trolley Facebook page and Instagram. He does bring joy to a lot of people.
Bryce plans to get back to the Special Olympics.
We have to get him back out there and smiling again, and then he'll want to be active and stuff like that.
But in the meantime, he has a pretty cool new gig. In Pittsburgh, Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
Commons and his mother will have the trolley set up at Lincoln Park on July 4th. You can check out their Facebook page to keep up with their full schedule. And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Local veteran Private First Class Travis Barnes served in the U.S. Army. His hometown, Springfield, Missouri, and we are proud to salute Private First Class Travis Barnes. He's tonight's four-state hero. To learn more about other heroes, sort of nominate a hero of your own anytime. You know what to do. You just go to our website. You click on the link. You see the website, KOAMnewsnow.com. We are very glad to know that the rain is going to be stopping at least for a while. Let's check out your graphics.
Got it. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we were saying,
it's going to dry out a bit over the next few days, which is good news. 83 tomorrow, 85 Saturday, 87 on the 4th. So a great holiday weekend to get outside, do whatever, be safe. But temps pretty good.
yes, and the ground will be moist enough that it'll minimize the fire hazards for the 4th. Final sports note.
Major League Baseball released All-Star Game starters. Nolan Arenado gets a start for the Cardinals at third base for the National League. Salvador Perez for the American League, starting at catcher from Kansas City.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget our morning show, and let's make it a great tomorrow.